And what are the early warning signs that a founder needs help before burnout hits or growth stalls?
If you feel like you're losing a bit of control over your business and kind of where am I going? What am I doing today? I've had days where I've woke up and gone, "Well, I don't even know what I'm doing." And I definitely have done, even fairly recently. We've gone through peaks and troughs of if you wake up and you don't feel as motivated about your business, you are on that burnout, if not already going through that burnout spectrum.
Of course.
It's if you just can't feel like if you feel like it's very cloudy in what it is you're trying to do and trying to achieve that any given moment. And I've certainly gone through that more
Yeah.
than once, sadly,
Okay.
through this. But when you're a solopreneur as well,
Hello and welcome to Smart Profit AI. In today's episode, we're talking about something every EdTech founder really struggles with: when to stop doing everything yourself and start building a scalable, sustainable business. My guest is Jon Hocker, founder of the eLearning group. He spent years helping organizations design, deliver, and scale learning and has lived the realities of founder life. Jon, welcome.
hi, thank you very much.
Can you give us a quick snapshot of the eLearning group and what's the story behind it?
Yes, absolutely. So I started my business journey 3 years ago. The eLearning Group is a business where we provide a platform for SMEs and knowledge experts to create and sell their own courses online. I also offer e-learning design services in there, auditing and consultant services, and all on the online e-learning space, essentially, is what I do. We started off on a different pathway 3 years ago, actually. What I'm doing now is not what I was doing 3 years ago initially. 3 years ago, it was all about creating bite-sized e-learning for the legal sector and for lawyers under a different name,
Yeah,
essentially. And just through conversations and speaking to as many people as I can and being very open-minded with opportunities is kind of what led me down the pathway I'm on now, which is the right path.
okay.
I've got that absolute clarity that this is the best way that we need to go as a business. So yeah, so it's been a very kind of bumpy
Yeah, right.
journey, essentially. Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, but it's been good. It's been eventful.
that's good. And was there a moment where you realized the solo hustle wasn't the long-term plan?
Yes, kind of quite early doors. My plan's always been to build a business. It's not a one-man band business, even though it still is at the minute. It is still just me in the business right now. Soon to change because I'm expanding the leadership team on that to kind of help build the strategy and make that come more alive. But yeah, my goal is to not be like this. It's not a
Yeah,
lifestyle business,
yeah,
which is, where you might just have maybe one or two other people in your business kind of helping work on it. But no, my goal is to really expand this and grow this and scale it up quite quickly. So to achieve that, we need to bring more people in
yeah,
sooner rather than later,
of
essentially. Yeah.
course, yeah. With all EdTech founders, when they first start off, they take the solo route and the
Mm.
solo hustle route. But why, from your point of view, why are so many EdTech founders now moving away from doing that all themselves?
Great question. I think for me, I can only really use my experience with it really. And for me, I like doing what I do. I've been a generalist learning and development guy for 10 years. And the whole reason why I love L&D is because I like taking something from A to B and that whole journey through it. And how I look at that through my business is whether that's through the creation of a piece of e-learning, taking it from my customer's template and then converting that into an e-learning course and then getting the full sign off. That's that whole A to B journey. We're creative people, but we like to innovate at the same time with EdTech.
Yeah,
So I think we like to do what we do. Well, I certainly do. There's a lot of things I don't like doing. For example, marketing. It's not my forte.
yeah,
So I think it's about trying to keep what we like doing. I certainly want to do that and maybe move a bit away from some of the bits that I don't
yeah,
like to do. But that is entrepreneurial business life.
yeah, of
So
course.
that's, as I say, I can only really share it from my experience, really. But that's kind of where I think on it.
And what are the early warning signs that a founder needs help before burnout hits or growth stalls?
If you feel like you're losing a bit of control over your business and kind of where am I going? What am I doing today? I've had days where I've woke up and gone, "Well, I don't even know what I'm doing." And I definitely have done, even fairly recently, gone through peaks and troughs of if you wake up and you don't feel as motivated about your business, you are on that burnout, if not already going through that burnout spectrum.
Of course.
It's if you just can't feel like if you feel like it's very cloudy in what it is you're trying to do and trying to achieve that any given moment. And I've certainly gone through that more
Yeah.
than once, sadly,
Okay.
through this. But when you're a solopreneur as well,
Hmm.
it's a very lonely world.
It is.
If you've got a co-founder with you or, a team of people you're
Yeah.
working with you, it's great,
Yeah. You
because you can
can, yeah, bounce
share that
ideas off each other and, yeah,
exactly,
support and everything.
and you share people's energy, don't you? If you're having a bit of a down day, but someone's in a really good mood and great mood, then they pick you up. So yeah, so for the solo ed tech founders,
Yeah.
it's hard. So finding work, whether that's going to a co-working space or if you've got some good connections of other people in business or that you just know or whoever, and just going to work with them.
Of course. Yeah.
Like today, I've gone to my in-laws, mainly because it's school half term at this
Yeah.
moment in time, but it's also because of those moments as well.
And where do you see the biggest leverage first? Is it the contractors, partnerships, or productizing services?
As in the biggest leverage for your business, just
Yeah.
in that kind of sense.
Yeah.
See, contracting's risky because you don't know whether you're coming or going. I think you've got to focus in on your services. What's your niche? What are you offering that others don't? So for me in particular with e-learning,
Yeah.
I follow a bite-sized and blended methodology. I'm not just a general e-learning designer and offering that kind of service. It's like, well, if you want me to work with you, I would prefer to use that methodology of we
Of
create
course.
something bite-sized and everything else for whatever methods. And that's my niche. I've not really found many people doing that. So, that's but with the rest of my services and with with our business model, we are quite unique in that
Of
way.
course.
Kind of what we offer. So I would focus in on the services because you
Yeah.
get that right, you get your products right,
Of course. Yeah.
start getting those customers through the door.
Yeah.
That gives you a bit more longevity with it. Whereas contracting, you could have a great contract for a good period, but then you don't know what's next after that.
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, what would you say? What practical steps help a founder transition from I do everything to
Hmm.
no, we have a system now?
I'm still doing that with myself because obviously I'm still a one-man band. I'm
Yeah. Of
still
course.
on that journey.
Yeah.
At the minute, it's about utilizing technology to your advantage right now. We'll say those ever famous two letters that everyone's talking about at the minute with a bit of AI in there.
Yeah. Of course.
Um, utilizing what you can to help you and be more productive and take some of that pressure off
Of
is
course.
really key because, you're constantly wearing 5, 6 plus different
Yeah.
hats a day.
Yeah.
Your next minute you're doing a bit of marketing, then you're doing a bit of customer services and business development and so on and so forth. So anything you can do to help you, but not impact your business and your services, your values, etc. My values are I'm a human centered business,
Yeah.
in what we do.
Yeah.
You can pick up the phone and give me a call type of
Of
thing,
course.
but we do use AI absolutely, but
Of course.
it's more on the
Yeah.
back end, making us a bit more
So,
productive.
so dare I say, then AI helps you build your systems in place.
Yeah, our processes more than anything, and everything else. As I say, we're all about the human-centered aspect of things with our course creators, for starters. It's not AI-generated content; it's actual real people's knowledge and content they've put together. But how we do things in the background with different stuff,
Yeah.
whether that be through, social media publishing or actually just with some a bit of design work, we use AI to make it a bit quicker to design it, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. With the using like Articulate as an example, which is what we use. I say we me, just makes that process a bit quicker.
Of course.
As long as as I say, as long as you're sticking to your core and your values with stuff, do what you can to make that life
Yeah.
a bit easier for you, really.
Okay. And then how do you decide what to delegate versus how do you maintain quality as you scale? So as of right
Mm.
now, you're a one man person, but if you were to have other team members, how would you decide to delegate those tasks?
Again, great question. You've got to utilize the skill set of the people you hire. You've got to hire the right people for starters, that are aligned to your business, your values, and the
Yeah,
goals that you're looking to achieve as well.
yeah,
Talk about what your dream as a business owner. What is it you want, and what's the absolute dream you've got as a business owner to get to that, to reach those goals. And it's kind of having people on board with that dream at the same time, and making sure that they have bought into it. And if everyone buys into it, great, you've got the right people. And then it's tapping into the skill sets of those people as well to kind of help with that delegation of work. So if you've got e-learning designers who's got different skills in different areas for e-learning design, and that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'd utilize that aspect to it,
yeah,
and really make sure you bring in the right people, not just
yeah,
anyone, to kind of fill those gaps. If you need it, it's got to be right people to kind of get there.
yeah. Okay. And is there any processes or lightweight playbooks that you probably have picked up along the way that you think small edtech firms can adopt?
Oof. Not really. No, I haven't actually. Trying to think about it, I haven't really kind of picked. A lot of it has been try and do and learn from it. Yeah, that's kind of how I've kind of got to this point. Is I could probably build my own probably book, to be honest with it. But yeah, it has been more about just kind of try these different things out
Yeah,
and see what works
definitely.
for you.
Yeah,
Yes, there may be lots of different playbooks out there and things like that, but it's probably taking snippets of everything, and
of course.
finding something that works really well for you. I've just done it through just sheer, not luck, but just kind of just doing it and
Just
speaking
testing.
with
Yeah,
the customer and seeing what I think the first good example I've got for that is my very first e-learning design customer
yeah,
who wrote a book, and we wanted to convert that book into a course. It was just a case of, yeah, here's a copy of the book, see what you can do with it, kind of
yeah,
thing. I'm sitting there reading through this book, going, I don't have a clue. I don't know. I'm not an expert in this topic, so
yeah.
I don't know what will work, what won't work. And then that was then a conversation with that customer about that and just being honest about it.
Cool.
And then it was a sit down of, okay, well, here's the Word document version of the book. Here's all that, everything highlighted. I want into it. Just do what you can with it. And then that was using a bit of tech, bit of software, bit of this to kind of fit it all together. And you know what? It was a great outcome, great
Yeah,
product.
that's
So
really good.
that's what I mean. So that's what I mean with it is
Yeah,
trying different things out.
of course.
Though, have a good relationship with those customers. And if you are in the same position as me, starting out on your own, just be honest about it. I
Of
think
course.
I've been very honest with my customers about my circumstance and what my situation is. I
Definitely.
mean, a
Yeah.
lot of the customers I've worked with are kind of sole business owners themselves to a degree,
Yeah.
so they get it.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's anything wrong really about just being
Yeah.
authentic and
Of
being
course.
honest with you where you are in your business journey. And I think the customers will be a lot more appreciative and understanding
Definitely.
and actually supportive of
Yeah.
that as well,
Yeah.
to kind of help you. So that's just through my kind of lessons really that
So,
I've learned through that.
yeah. And what might work for you might not work with someone else. So,
Absolutely.
like you said, it's
Absolutely.
just trial and error. It's just testing all the different like strategies that you can use. But yeah,
Yeah,
but most
that's
important
it.
is to be your authentic self, to be honest with your clients about where you are, and like you
Yeah.
said, yeah, a lot of the time you get positive responses. So
Yeah,
yeah, definitely.
absolutely.
Distribution is a tough for a small team.
Hmm.
What's worked for you to build trust and reach so far?
A bit of what I've just talked about there.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. Being
Being authentic,
yeah,
don't try and be something you're not. And that then stems through like your social media as well. As a business owner, you've got to be on social media, you've got to
yeah,
be sharing your message.
yeah,
But also it's about trying to build that trust within your audience base, whether they are just like a subscriber or a potential customer, showing that you're a trusted individual expert, let's say, in what it is you're trying to build, you are building, I should say, is really key. So having that authenticity, building that trust, communicating it really clearly and simply, I think is really, really important. You've got to have clarity, because I've done messages and all sorts of social media, all slightly different. I've used AI. I've done my own posts. My own posts get a better traction than an AI. I just want to put, to point that out.
Yeah.
So you've got to have that kind of flow, as I say, of be authentic, build that trust, be clear, and that's how you can kind of really distribute that message really, really well, and you say it, and just your business in general, But it takes time, a lot
Yeah.
of time. I only really use LinkedIn for my social media because my kind of target audience is on LinkedIn at the moment. That will change probably in the new year. So kind of really target one area
Yeah.
and then go through that. So whether that's email marketing, let's say, or you're building a newsletter or blog, target really one or two and give that everything first and really build that. And then you can use that as throughout the different areas then. But your communication in each of those areas are going to be really different as well.
Yeah.
So what you write on LinkedIn is going to be very different to what you may write on Instagram. So, and so on. So, whatever you write in a blog, that's great content to use in social media, but you might
Yeah.
want to retweak it
Of
for some of
course.
those different things as well. So
Yeah.
that's kind of, really what I've learned with that. Yeah, I've done, like I say, I've done a mix over the years of different types of posts and the language I've used in it and all sorts. And yeah, I've just found that the authentic stuff is the one that gets the best traction.
Yeah.
So keep it that way.
And you've seen platforms disappear or content get lost. How should founders de-risk platform dependency?
Ooh, depending on what type of platform it is, I
Yeah.
suppose,
Yeah.
and what you're using it for, I think
Yeah.
is
Of course.
as understandable. If we're
Yeah.
talking about social media platforms as an
Yeah.
example,
Yeah.
yes, I am using just the one at the moment, but if you're using it in the right way, it kind of helps at the same time. But I'm not dependent on it as well. So you've got to have a blend, I
Yeah.
think, of different things, that really helps you with your messaging and with your business that can help bring those customers in. Like I say, you've got to have your website, you've got to use your socials, you've got to have a marketing campaign, you've got to have whether that's emails. But actually, do you know what? The one thing that probably a lot of people don't like to do anymore is actually just picking up the phone and giving a potential customer a call as well. I've kind of started to realize that a little bit more myself, and that actually
Yeah.
let's just not be digital with everything that
Yeah.
we do.
Of
Let's
course.
be a bit more human with stuff, because I think people are starting to, because AI has been talked about so much
Yeah.
and the dependency becoming a bit more on AI. I think a lot of people are really starting to miss that human contact again. So don't be afraid to just pick up the phone and just give someone a call, and just see if they're free for the chat. If not, arrange to give them a call for the chat and have that conversation. So that's how you then also not depend on, your platforms for your
Yeah.
business at the same time. If the digital world crashed, how would you then, continue with your business?
Yeah.
Being in technology, you are at severe risk of that. So, you've got to think about that future proof. How can we do stuff outside of it? Um, which I think is very hard for EdTech businesses.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's what I'd go with that.
Okay.
Is kind of be broad with it.
Yeah. Okay. And what is your approach to credibility signs? Is it case study, social proof, or community?
They all play a purpose. They all play really key aspects. It depends what you want to be seen as, I think, is the other area as to what you want to do. For me, I'm trying to be seen as a trusted e-learning partner. So for me, it's about showing these are the people I've worked with, these are the projects I've done. So a bit more case study led, mixed with that customer review and customer satisfaction in there. I'm not building a community. I am and I'm not. So my structure may change as I get more people on the platform and creating content, and then I will be able to, I'll have a community of creators there that actually I need to do something a bit different with in how I talk to them and how I keep in contact with them. So maybe that community aspect is the way I'd go down. But right now it's more about showing that trusted partnership. These are the people I've worked with. This is what I've built. This is what they say about it. For me, what's working at the moment to build that credibility.
Yeah.
But it won't stay like that forever. It will change, and we will use a mixture of different things. So it's all about what you want to be seen as. If you want to be seen as we've got loads of people with lots of information and knowledge to share, that's a community. That's what you want to focus on. If you're more on my side of things, then probably more what I'm doing.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go back to AI for a minute. Where does AI help a small edtech firm, and what does it overpromise?
AI and EdTech I feel like it's a bit exciting, to be honest. I think there's a lot of possibilities for the future to help us. You're hearing so much just, from the likes of, was it Bill Gates and a few others, like, oh, these are the only jobs that are going to survive post AI. I honestly don't believe that. I honestly believe that actually, if you don't get involved with AI and understand it and how it works for you, then you will be left behind in that instance. Within an AI world, we've got to get used to it and understand it and use it to our advantages in our businesses, in our jobs, whatever it is that you're doing. But otherwise, like I say, you will get left behind. So for me, it's how I use AI at the minute is that it speeds up course creation.
Yeah.
So, as I say, I'm all about bite-sized e-learning,
Yeah.
15, 20 minutes in terms of length. Without AI, that would take me half a day, maybe, something like that, 3-4 hours. Whereas now it's probably half that, because AI efficiency speeds up the process of just putting content, changing how it looks in terms of, do I want it as an interactive flip card block, or do I want it as a text and image? What do I want? So pre-AI, that would be me having to constantly play with that.
Yeah.
Whereas now it can just instantly do it in a few seconds. It's converted it. You do still have to be careful, obviously, in terms of language, tone, the messaging. If you don't want to make sure that the core of the content you're talking about AI isn't changing that. So you still have to be very careful of that. So that would probably be more of on the advantage side of things, is that you can't just rely on it to, in Articulate now, you can literally just upload a document and it will convert that into a course for you, Yeah, so you can upload that and it will convert it. It's a crazy world that we're in there now in kind of course creation, but it's not, in my view, it's not good quality. It's not high quality stuff. You've then still got to do a lot of work to it anyway. So it may just cut out the building a structure of a course.
Yeah.
But there's still a lot of work you've got to put into it to kind of correct it, make it feel and look more human, created and everything else. So then the question begs a little bit is there actually any point of doing that? Should you just not just do your normal processes and just do the little things that AI is really good for at the minute? But as it gets better, AI learns more with it, and it understands what, especially in the EdTech space and e-learning creation space, what it is you're trying to do, then it will improve. It's still early doors at the minute.
Of course.
So processes, it makes us a bit more productive at the moment. Absolutely. It won't take our jobs away, because as I say, we are still going to need to create that human creation side.
Yeah.
Think AI on things like kind of platforms and like whether whether that's an LMS or LXP type thing is going to be really good in terms of kind of data and MI learner data that you can kind of gather, and the intuitiveness that it could bring to kind of show, well, based on what you're learning at the minute and your interests are, based on what's happening globally at the minute, this is the kind of stuff would be really good for you to learn about at the moment, type of thing. So all that kind of stuff would be really, really good. I don't know whether, I haven't seen in the market whether there's something like that at the moment or being built or anything like that, but I would certainly love something like that on my platform, as we develop that and grow that platform side of things as well. So I think there's a lot of good exciting stuff to be really kind of looking forward to.
Definitely. Yeah.
with kind of AI in this space. It's going
Yeah.
to, I mean, there's some platforms that are utilizing it really well at the minute, to kind of to help create content. But I was going to say, my belief is we need to have more human centered stuff on that, but utilize AI to our advantage instead of it taking the forefront of it. I feel like it just devalues it a bit more in my view, and devalues the people who've actually spent the time
Yeah.
and the decades of experience and knowledge they've gathered as well by just having AI write it for them. It needs to have that balance,
Yeah.
but of the two
Yeah.
is my belief with that. So
Mm.
yeah, so I've probably waffled a bit there with that, but yeah, it's
Yeah.
kind of it's a mix. I think at the
Yeah.
minute it's still developing, but there's still some really good stuff it helps us with. There's going to be loads of good stuff in the future in terms of how it can help with these platforms and our
Yeah.
platforms and make us provide a better kind of information
Yeah.
piece. Yes, it will do better course creation in the future, than what it does now. But I still feel like there always going to be needs to be that blended approach of human and
Yeah. Yeah.
AI
Okay.
content.
Okay, then. So just to wrap up, what's your biggest challenge you're solving right now at the e-learning?
Yeah. Oh, it's probably there's probably not one. There's
Mainly, or
probably kind of two challenges at the minute. So I'll just
yeah.
pick one.
No, you can say both.
I can say both. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
If we've got time for it, if we've got time for
Of
it.
course.
One is the platform.
Yeah.
So as I say, I'm using an off the shelf platform at the minute that just isn't customizable to how I need it. So that's why I'm building my own one. So once that's thing, then you've then got new challenges that's going to present in terms of the continuous development of that and actually building it in the right way for the customer base. So getting that customer feedback is going to be really, really crucial over the development phase to kind of go, this is what I want, or this is what works, doesn't work. But again, when you've got a platform that's then yours, you can then risk it of kind of going down, changing so many things for lots of different people that actually it misses the core a little bit because you're trying to please too many people with it. So I'm very conscious of that very early on. So I don't want to do that. So yeah, so the system's been a bit of a barrier for the business at the minute to really, really fully go for it, in terms of that scalability. And the other thing is, I'm still building that trust within the audience base that I've got and growing that audience base. At the minute, it's trying to convince coaches and SMEs that actually having an e-learning arm to their business is going to just add so much value. They see value in it, but then actually taking the steps to do it is what was a bit of a challenge at the minute. So I speak to a lot of people and they go, yeah, do you know what, having something there that can just be a passive income, just
Yeah.
online, just have to market it a bit and do a bit of that stuff, and that's what I'm trying to build this really simple platform that is not a headache for
Of course.
coaches who aren't maybe as tech savvy with it, to just actually simply and easily upload course content to it in a structured way that they can then just monetize it, sell it, and have that as that passive income.
So,
But like I say, it's just getting them to take those steps at the minute. I think there's just a bit of skepticism around I think e-learning's always had a bit of a bad rep in the
yeah.
past,
Yeah.
hasn't it? You do it for your mandatory
Yeah.
compliance stuff, and
Of
it takes
course.
an hour, and it's just used as a tick box. So
TikToks. Yeah.
people don't like it anyway because of that. So I'm
Yeah.
trying to debunk those
Yeah.
myths around that, and actually, do you know what? It can be done in the right way. It doesn't have to be used just for like dry topics like compliance. You can use it for lots and lots of different things,
Definitely.
and even niche skills that they've got, that they have as conversations, in one-to-ones, coaching sessions, or even if they do workshops on it,
Yeah.
or webinars, that's stuff that can be great for e-learning that you can monetize. So yeah, so it's just that's the other challenge, getting them to take that first
Yeah.
leap
Of course.
into, yeah, let's get online. But I think the platform, they work hand in hand. Once I've built the
Yeah.
platform,
Definitely.
it should make that a lot easier for them to realize how simple this is going to be.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
sunshine.
And looking 6 to 12 months ahead, what does
Mm.
sustainable growth look like for you?
Yeah, my core focus now in terms of growing the customer base and the business is really focusing in on an assisted course hosting service. So under the we've got 3 cores as a business. I think I said at the start: course hosting, e-learning design, auditing, consultant. So under that course hosting arm, that assisted hosting, which is where I'll do all the LMS
Yeah.
administration for you.
Yeah.
That is the one I'm focusing on to grow at the minute, because, all people have to do is then upload the content, just market it and all that kind of stuff. And then I take a lot of that pressure in terms of running reports, doing user management. If there's anything technical that goes wrong in the background, then you don't have to worry about it. I'm doing it for you. So that's what that is for me. I want to grow the most over the next year, 6 to 12 months. Once that's in, that will produce consistent, sustainable income for the business to kind of then grow and scale up. Obviously, I'm not ignoring the rest of the business services, the e-learning design projects and the consulting stuff. Absolutely. But that is the main focus right now that I want to grow. Once that's got good, sustainable traction on it, then everything else should then fall into place quite nicely. So that's the plan. But plans are never, it's nice on paper, but actually doing it's the hard part.
Like you say, it's all bumpy up and down.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Well, Jon, this was packed with practical founder wisdom. Thank you so much again. Where can listeners find you and the eLearning group?
Yeah, so I've got my website, which is www.theelearninggroup.co.uk. You can check all about the business on there, what we do, our services. You can contact me through that as well if you wish. I'm on LinkedIn. It's Jon, Jon Hocker, Hocker. Find me on there. The business is on there. Connect with me, get involved with conversations, drop me a message. More than happy. And obviously email. So hello@theelearninggroup.co.uk is one of the best ones to kind of get hold of us on as well. So love to speak to people who want to learn more or get involved in this space.
Great. Fantastic. Thank you once again for joining us today, Jon. And for listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to like, subscribe and share. Thank you very much.
Thank you.